Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy, and this is the third add-on and 18th overall review of series number 1, Long Cut Straight, or Straight Long Cut. So, this is another relook, in a way, somewhat like the kayak of the other week was. This is the reformulated, supposedly, metal lid Creek Straight. So, I originally reviewed this product when it was in a plastic lid on the 9th of October 2018. It was within the first 30 days of this channel. I did not go back and watch the whole review through. It was all right. It was not the worst. It was probably more favorable, actually, than it deserved, being that I was still feeling my way through product lines and wasn't overly familiar with everything yet. So we will be taking a look at this. This review is thanks to Hoss304 for the sourcing. He will be the one that we blame for this. I'm just kidding, Hoss. Don't panic. I'm already blaming. No, I'm kidding. I was going to say I'm already blaming you for this, but that's all right. So it's in a 2-can box because Lord knows Swisher International loves packaging everything in sets of 2 in boxes. So $1.50 off is what they're claiming. I'm not quite sure what it cost. I didn't really check back over the receipts and whatnot. Hoss, by all means, comment as to what you paid for this or what you think you paid for this. So, I actually sort of like these boxes. They're sort of cool. You know what it reminds me of? Like a Mike and Ike box. Only it doesn't have like a pull tab thing at the end where you open up a little hole. But it's basically sort of the same size. What they would term as theater candy boxes. Alright? So I'm just going to pull open one end here. Now I did do a Creek. A relook at the metal Creek. I think it was Fine Cut Natural. And yeah. So getting a can out. I do like these, and I like the natural one too. There is no embossing on this except for the raised rim, which is somewhat boxed, sort of in a U.S. Smokeless company fashion. But unlike the kayak, the Creek is not raised. It's flat. And the simplicity of it, simple can lids, I don't know what my deal is, but I like them. So that works for me. It's a burgundy red background. It's got the Creek. They've dropped the silver. If you look back at the original review, it was in a plastic lid, as I said, but it was still being referred to as Silver Creek at the time. They've dropped the silver. They have the ship compass at the top there. Now, if you're ever in a creek and you find yourself using a ship compass, you've already lost. You're done. It's over. Just fade away. So you got the warning label, you got long cut, moist snuff, and you got straight up at the top. Going around to the side, we got branding. Canary yellow, 75 cents off. Another Swisher thing is that all products, no matter what they are, no matter when they are being released, all products must have somewhere on them incorporated bold canary yellow special pricing. 75 cents off. Long cut moist snuff. More branding. More canary yellow. The fact that this is made by Swisher International, the smokeless division is headquartered out of Wheeling, West Virginia. It is tax class M, as is all dip products in the United States. Then you got the barcode, which tells me that these cans are sometimes sold by themselves. Also, the canary yellow would suggest that. And then you have the net weight, which is 1.2 ounces. Sale is only allowed in the United States. Underage sales prohibited. And 100% domestically grown tobacco, as is all Swisher smokeless products. And I am going to go out on a limb here and say that all Swisher machine-made cigars are also 100% domestically grown tobacco. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Moving on to the back. Sticker on the back, sort of a generic can. It seems pliable. It's not cracking. In the original reviews of the all plastic containers, the Kayak was worse, but the Creek gave me the idea it was going the same way. If you pressed on the back, and this is why I say pliable, it's giving there. And, you know, some of the Kayak original reviews, like if I pressed too hard in the back of the can, it was like the can was brittle. I don't know how long I had been sitting wherever for how, you know, they would actually crack. They'd split. There would be a hairline crack down the back. Then you have 100% American made, www.silvercreek.com. So they do keep the silver on that, I guess. Oh, I'm sorry. Fine print. www.discovercreek.com. That makes more sense. And then you have some sort of date code. And I'm guessing the year is at the beginning, unlike on a Grizzly or Kodiak product where it's at the end, because the first number is 20. So I don't know if this has one of those easy, I guess we'll find out. Now, doesn't have the easy Kayak open. Oh, yes it does. It was just a little bit more difficult. Now, some may be thinking to themselves, okay, is this some sort of like hit on like Appalachian Hillbilly? Like, do they need easy access? Like, is there some... No, it is not some derogatory comment on Appalachian life. Although it is noteworthy that Billy is 4. So that's what you're looking at. That's the long cut. Okay. Well, I'm a little surprised, actually. And I'll tell you why I was surprised. I was expecting this to be, at least in smell, carbon copy of the Kayak. Where is the Kayak? Because the Kayak did not get thrown out. The Kayak was not used, but the Kayak was not thrown out. So, that's a lot stronger. Okay, so... Okay, that's a little odd. The Kayak comes off as stronger smell. And the Creek is a little bit lower in smell, but they're two completely different smells, which completely shoots my theory that this was the same product in two different cans. This is it's a straight. Okay. All right. So that's what you're looking at. It's got some very thick pieces in it. There is one right around there at the end. It's inconsistent. It does look like they're getting somewhere closer to strand dipping tobacco, but I guess we'll find out. So it seems moist. I'm having to back it with a finger. It is moist. Man, that... Really? I'll be back in a moment. I'm back. Yeah. Suit&Tie, Dip&ChewGuy, he sniffs cans. Sort of like Joe Biden sniffs kids. Only I'm pretty sure I can't go to prison for this. I'm really thrown by this. I mean, I'm thrown enough that I'm almost overlooking the fact of how bad this actually is. It's not good. I mean, it's not the worst I've ever had by any means, but it's not great. The kayak and the Creek product are different. They're different. They're flavored differently. I'm sort of amazed. The kayak is a very poor attempt, an overblown attempt at Skull Classic Straight. The Creek, it's darker. It's more mellow flavor-wise, and it smells like it's darker. Like, it's odd. It's not terribly bad. There doesn't seem to be a lot of flavor with it, which may be a good thing. With some of these products, more moisture and more flavor doesn't necessarily mean good things are coming your way. So, when I first put it in the front, besides having a ridiculous amount of floaters, I actually got mouthfeel. And I'm feeling like this actually has nicotine. It might not be, Grizzly Wintergreen and definitely not Kodiak Wintergreen, but I feel like as though it has something. More than the kayak product did. The flavor is not good, but at the same time, I sort of find it a little bit intriguing, which is about as upbeat and positive this review is probably going to get. It's like a miminal. Wow, this is what happens when you do this stuff in the middle of the night. It's very light on the straight. It's almost like an unsalted, natural, with a very like a sprinkle of straight flavoring on it. It's different. It's different. That's which is noteworthy, I suppose. Floaters are unbelievable. Yeah, I actually got mouthfeel in the front of my gum when it was first in. That's not why I moved it around the side. I was actually moving around the side so I could talk, one, and to floater test it going around. It failed that test, so we won't go any further there. The cut is absolutely atrocious, but I do feel it has nicotine, which is surprising me just as much as you. The flavor is very nondescript. It's straight, but you got to sort of remind yourself that it's straight. It's not natural, though, because it doesn't have the salt aspect. It's sort of like an unsalted natural with a light dose of straight. It's not like the kayak. The kayak was trying really hard to be something, to be Skull Classic Straight or something along those lines. It failed absolutely terribly, but that's what they were going for. This, I'm not sure what they're going for with this, to tell you the truth. Flavor is very mellow. It's not great, but being that it's so mellow, it's not really bothersome either. It seems to have nicotine. The cut's absolutely, it's clown show with the cut. So, Smell is intriguing too. The smell's not, I don't know. It's reminded me of something, but I cannot place it for the life of me. It's all right. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's a budget dip. Don't let's not kid ourselves that it's anything other than a bottom line tier budget dip. As far as flavor goes, although it is somewhat intriguing as to how mellow it is and what the smell's like, I would still go with a Longhorn product in this tier. I would go with Longhorn, every time, really. I've never really run it. And that's not to say all Pinkerton third tier dip products, budget dip line, are good. The Red Man dips are absolutely horrific. Haas, do not send any of the Red Man dips. But I mean, if you're short on cash, like you're picking change out from underneath your seat, and you don't have access to Longhorn for whatever reason, I can't imagine a situation where you wouldn't. I would take this over, let's say, Decade or Derringer, or I'd take this over the Kayak. The Kayak, at least you knew, though, with the Kayak what they were shooting for. This, it's like, I don't know. But it's tolerable, and it seems to have nicotine. And that's about as good as this is going to get. And actually, that's better than I thought this was going to be. So, it does juice up a little bit. I mean, I'm using the mud jug. Every once in a while, I get a stronger burst of flavor. It's reminded me of something, and I cannot. You know what? I think I do know what. It's got a straight essence to it, but I think it might be reminding me of the WB Long Cut, which I didn't like, but the WB Long Cut, which is U.S. Smokeless Tobacco Company's only pouch product. It's a pouch like this big. Looks like a miniature chew bag. I've reviewed it on here, so if you look it up, it's real long stringy stuff. Almost reminds you of European shag rolling tobacco. It's basically a natural with no salt, no saltiness. I don't like it personally, but I think this stuff, if you take away that light dose of straight, I think this stuff is reminding me of it. So, I don't know. Look, it's 75 cents off a can. I don't know if I'd buy 2 cans of it. But if you see it, it's different. It's a non-salted natural with a light touch of straight. Seems to have nicotine. Packaging's all right. I mean, the packaging, it's a metal lid. I like the flat, simple aspect of it. Can's all right. It's nothing great, but, I mean, cans, you got to go sort of out of your way to mess up with the can part of this. It really, my big problems packaging-wise in the past have been plastic lids. So, if you're getting it, like, if you're in a rural area and you see this and they're selling it by the can for, like, $1.50 or less, you might want to give it a try. I mean, just to say that you tried it, just to have the can, maybe. But I would go into it not having some great expectation of, oh, wow, this, I might be able to switch to this and save some money. No, you're not going to switch to this. Trust me, you're not switching to this. But that is all I have to think on that, and I have gone on well long enough. So, Creek, you got a fair chance. This has been the second review of Creek, formerly Silver Creek, long cut straight, now in the metal lid. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy. I'm headed over to the report to drink some soda pop. I do hope you all are well. Do take care of yourselves, and God bless.